up to 1.8 thousand followers on YouTube. So much appreciated to you for liking and subscribing. Please join our Discord, Dem Boys Watch Footy. Be greatly appreciated. Really trying to create this whole community before we start heading off for all of the World Cup stuff. But wanted to introduce you all to Dem Boys right now. We got PJ, we got TC, and we got a new guest for the week coming over from AFC NYC. We got Jordan. How you doing, Jet?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
Love to hear it.
What's up,
Love to
Jordan?
hear it. Well, yeah, y'all know what we are here for, talking about them hard hitting facts over the weekend of all the good things that happened within the Premier League. We got MLS playoffs. We got things that are going on over in the Turkish Football League. But where we are solely starting is definitely going to be the love of my life, which is going to be Arsenal Football Club. We are now top of the league, y'all.
You guys are winning it. You guys are winning it.
Don't jinx it. Don't jinx it.
That's the whole
He's doing
point.
that on purpose, yeah.
He's doing all of that on purpose. But it is another 1-0 to the Arsenal. Amazing win. Crystal Palace is a very formidable foe. And even though it says that they actually did have a shot on target, I didn't actually see where it came from. But that did break our 4-game streak of no shots on target within the Premier League. But
all October.
Yeah, Eberici Eze was able to score the goal against his former team. Very muted celebration. But Jordan, I'm going to start with you, my fellow Gooner fan. What did you think of the match? Anything that was a big positive for you? Anything that you're just like, hold up, I didn't see enough of? Love to start with you here.
I mean, I think it was a bit of a trap game, to be honest, right? Like, anytime you have a player playing their former club in a must-win game, I feel like it can go either way. And obviously, he left Crystal Palace, and people think maybe Palace isn't as strong as they were last year. So I think that's has all the tellings of a trap game. But I love the lineup that Arteta started. I only would have made maybe one sub with Martinelli in for Trossard, but he's been playing so well off the bench, I can't be too mad at it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, as they scored, you can't write that. So
first Premier League goal for the Gunners. It was a thing of beauty as well. I mean, it was a nice little not a bicycle. It was more like a
little volley.
Yeah, more of a volley. But he did that against Arsenal last season, and you can see that was one of the big reasons as to why we got him. Some things that I'm still a little worried about: more injuries. Definitely saw some injuries pop up. We had Declan Rice at the very end of the match. Saka, he supposedly is carrying a like a flu-like symptoms before the match. That's why he was substituted off. So, Jordan, I mean, now that you're seeing like the season, the first like third kind of completed, what are your thoughts for like, especially these upcoming run of matches that we're about to see?
I think it's pretty insane how we've made it through a very hard first third of the season. We played a lot of tough teams, I think, away. We've had a lot of injuries. I know people are probably sick of Arsenal fans saying it, but I think it is really true this year. I mean, you guys keep us honest. I don't know. And we're still top of the league.
Yeah.
And we have 4 or 5 dudes who are real dudes coming back. Now, is that all our credit? No. I mean, Liverpool, City, they're dropping points, but you take what you get. So, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy.
Oh, okay. That's good to hear. I mean, one thing I'm truly loving, even though he hasn't really been scoring, we got Gyökeres still really finding his footing within the Premier League. One thing that I'm really not seeing with him is the goal scoring prowess, but he was able to score in the Champions League where teams actually afford us more space. I do remember Dinesh last week, one of our Liverpool supporters that have come onto the show quite frequently. He loves to talk about our set piece scoring prowess. Right, just flipping the ball in. But we're seeing around the league right now, set pieces are big. We see Brentford with the long throw, and we've seen Tottenham win off of 2 set pieces. So I'm going to bounce this over to TC. Like, do you feel as though you're seeing people are doing the copycat within the league?
No copycats. You guys are a very, as you can tell, as everyone will tell you about your corners. You've worked very, very hard on your corners. You obviously were leading scoring from set pieces last season. This season, we can still see you scoring quite a bit from set pieces. The discussion is, are you a set piece team? Are you Stoke 2.0? The point is, no. I say this, whatever gets the win, right?
Yeah.
Depending on how people, if you're not able to defend against it. So for right now, you guys will say yes. But next week, you'll say, oh, but they played like this against us, blah, blah, so they can't do. So for the argument for its sake, for my belief is that however you win, regardless, if teams aren't able, if your strengths are in set pieces, then you must lean into set pieces because they're getting you over the line if teams can't defend it. Second point, Jordan, you mentioned something very interesting. Just based off the injury list that we have currently around the league, which is quite fair to say, I think it's very relevant because that being said, you have got notable injuries to Martin. If I'm not, yeah, he's out for a couple of months.
Yeah.
But seemingly based on who's in the physio room so far, Chelsea's got like the most injuries, 8, followed by Tottenham, and then Liverpool with 6. And then last season it was Brighton who had 48 and Tottenham who had 41. That being said, Arsenal are in there, and I think it's not about how many injuries, it's about who is injured in your team. It's key individuals, whether in the back line, whether it's Saka. So we know that definitely helps with the rhythm of the team. That I can buy into 100%. What I am seeing, though, is a team that is able to grind out wins. That's the difference with the Arsenal of old. And I think that's where you have to see the importance of a championship team is being able to grind out those results and sticky games. When games are sticky and they can go either way and you still get a result, that's when you start to see the turn. That's when you have the belief around the team because regardless of how well they're playing, they're still finding a way. And when you can start doing those draws that you guys had last season start to turn into 3 points, start to edge out a little bit of points. Now, let me tell you about points, and I'll leave it on this point to add on for anyone else. Points in any game is it comes down to this. It's a mental fortitude. It's a mental arrow that it plays onto everyone else. When you wake up in the day as a football team or as a manager and you're chasing the top pack, who's in the top pack? Who's chasing? Oh my God, it must be one of the shittiest teams in the league currently.
Bournemouth
Anyway,
is up
so
there.
who else up there? PJ, who else is
Tottenham,
chasing?
Tottenham's
Who's like
third,
3 points away
Sunderland's
from
fourth,
there?
City's in fifth.
Who else is 3 points away from the top? Come on,
No one. No one. Arsenal's on 22 and Bournemouth is on 18. So
and
Arsenal
after that, the semantics. Let's
great
just
start.
move on.
Tottenham's
my points
on
about the
17,
points.
Sunderland's on 17, City's on 16.
Okay,
United's on
thanks,
16,
PJ. Thank
Liverpool's
you.
on 15.
Perfect.
He's
That's
really trying to
exactly.
push up that Manchester United. Huh?
Still couldn't find it. My point is, and to this point, so I don't drag it on. Like when you're looking at points difference and you're kind of waking up, it's the pressure of knowing we have to win that game. It's added pressure to catch up. And for the team behind you, you know you have a bit of a buffer, which gives you a bit of a, like, let's not fuck it up, but we don't have as much pressure. I know that this is only like in some teams a slight, when it comes to squeaky bum time, that's when it counts a lot. That's from January onwards. That's when we'll see if you've got freaking the floss for your asshole, because that's when it really counts. You know what I mean? That being said, I am pleasantly surprised, very pleasantly and very emphatically going to say this about this Arsenal side that I haven't seen over the last 3 years. Is a determination to get the result. I keep going back to that. I don't think you know how important that is to get over when it's 0-0 and you're like, where's it going to come from? And it sneaks in. Or when it's 1 and it's that push. So that resilience is what's going to push. So that's my feeling on Arsenal. And that's most I say. Those guys can't see the way.
Yeah. Well, when I saw the itinerary, we only had 2 things, and one of them was about Turkish betting. I'm like, why is there such an EPL focus? And I realized that Arsenal is really kicking ass. So definitely a little bias. I mean, you guys bring up some good points. Arsenal is averaging 7.5 corners a game, but for me, it's very, very simple. Their defense is absurd. They've only allowed 3 goals on the year. How is that not what we're talking about? They're scoring well, but it's their defense. No team has. The team with the next most goals, they've given up less than half of those at 7. So it's their defense that's winning them games, plain and simple. I don't know what you guys want to elaborate why they're locking teams down. They've averaged a third of a goal a game.
Yeah, Jordan, I'll give you this one to start off. I'll plead for you.
No, for sure. I mean, I think anybody who's been like a true Arsenal fan has been supremely happy with Gabriel. even when Saliba was still on loan. Then obviously Saliba coming back, and just there was a joke that Arteta would continue to sign left backs and right backs every year when we needed a striker. But now you're seeing the dividends, I guess. I think it's true. People have a hard time scoring on us, and even with the guy Christian Mosquera, I got to give him a shout out. He came in on halftime for Saliba. It's a young dude. He just came in and started commanding in an important game, and didn't let anything up. So I think you hit the nail on the head there with the defense too.
Yeah, I mean, defensively, what I'm really loving is the fact that we do stick with the system. Now, Jordan, I've been on your platform and I've completely said sometimes the system just drives me insane. The pragmatic approach, I just can't take it all of the time. I want to see more goals. I want to see more of a swashbuckling space that we used to have back in. But I understand, like, we haven't lost a match. People haven't really scored 4 on us in a very, very long time. A lot of these other teams are getting like 2 to 3 to 4, scoring on them consistently, or they're giving up a goal or two consistently, and you're getting more draws and losses than wins. Namely, calling out Liverpool right there for that one. But one thing that Arteta is going to do, he really is not a fan of giving up goals. Like ever since that 2022-2023 season where he completely shifted our approach from the swashbuckling football to just like, we're going to control, we're going to dictate how this game is played, and you're going to play on our terms. It's not the easiest for all Arsenal fans to take, but you cannot argue with the results until it doesn't give you a trophy at the end. Now, I know TC is chomping at the bit to jump in here, but to finish off my point, I'm happy with our defensive prowess because defenses do win championships. What I want to see is Arsenal to defeat that Chelsea 15 EPL goals record when they set that back in 2005. I want that one the most just because that will really just stamp out exactly how Arteta really wanted to play football within the modern game.
You want? Sorry, can you repeat that? You wanted what? You want what?
I want that that Chelsea defensive record where they won the league, only giving up 15 goals within a Premier League season.
Hey, fuck that, bro. You want the you want a, you know what? This is the shit that I'm talking about with these motherfuckers. The audacity, you know what? Your fucking audacity, you Eric. You know what? Your audacity. The motherfucking audacity. And I say that with the reverence. Because, mate, we are in September, dog. I mean October. Okay? We are in October, and you are Arsenal.
Couple more days, we're in November. Come on.
We're Arsenal fans. Listen to me here. Listen to me here, okay? These ideas of delusion of grandeur are possible. Hope is a great thing.
Yeah.
But do not fall into a trap of remembering we are playing a sport of football. Your first priority cannot be to be like, we're doing so well. We're gonna be. Shut the fuck up. Stay where you are, boy. Because what can happen is you can still get that record, no problem. You might not get 0 trophies. I hear what you're saying, Eric. Great, it'd be great to have. I'd say that's a cherry on top. For me, you sound like someone who's like building a ballroom instead of paying their military workers. That's what I'm gonna say. That's where your focus is, and that's exactly what it sounds like. But I hear what you're saying. And to PJ, thank you for raising that. That's a fucking great point, and that has to be applauded 100%. Because you cannot lose a game if no one can score against you. That's it. No one, and Mourinho knows that. That's why his teams have been very pragmatic. Okay. However,
I love Mourinho, even when he was with Chelsea, giving Wenger all of the issues in the world. Like, I loved his approach to football at that time because it was no nonsense getting the win. But when it was Wenger leading Arsenal and I got to see all of those ticky-tack passes through the central channels for those beautiful goals that ultimately didn't end up with us winning anything, it was still really entertaining.
Oh, 100%. Oh,
look. I'm torn. Like, as an Arsenal fan, I'm like, I am now watching the sport that, like, what brought me into the sport was like the beautiful game, but right now I'm just enjoying like the 1-0 results only.
2004 Detroit.
The sport's beautiful a lot outside of Arsenal, though, too. It's a more physical game, at least in England and across the board, where we're not seeing that from a lot of teams.
I don't know.
And you know, it's interesting you say that, Jordan, because like
amazing stuff, you know.
we did see, Mourinho did build his teams on very strong, powerful teams, very strong in the midfield in terms of physicality and that kind of thing. However, as we've seen slight shift in football philosophies with different kinds of things with Pep Ball, you lose the need for physicality, right? Because it's more about passing and moving rather than owning and moving into that space and really bossing that space, therefore like not allowing your forwards and the midfield to come in there, right? And I think what we saw over the last few years is a move away from having these bigger forwards, less crosses, right? Until both of our teams decided, fuck that, let's get these big fucking Norwegians, fucking Vikings in to help address that, because that's been a lack of teams. And we've noticed they've got smaller centre backs where you can have bigger forwards to exploit that. So there's this constant shift, like you see in fashion, where you're constantly evolving around these football philosophies based on what works. So Pep's ball worked really well. Then everyone tried to adopt it because it worked at Barcelona. It worked very well at City. He was allowed to buy specific players for that. Don't forget, he's had, or he had that in Barcelona. Was able to build that at City. Less that at Bayern Munich. I'll say that he didn't have too much Pep ball there, but at Man City brought it in. And what you saw that is people have started to understand how to play that now. Your guy, who sat in his room and said, hey, boss, what should I do? Take these notes, has spent time in his pupillage, obviously has now come up and said, I learned how to play Pep ball, but here are the ways in which we had vulnerabilities around it. And so these things are then shared and people learn. So you then have a development of how do you stop Pep ball? How do you stop the play? What's best to exploit it? What's the best? Soak up and counterattack. That's just one of the things we used to do all the time. You got low block. People hate it against teams like Liverpool.
You did that against every team, especially like the winger teams that love possession before. Like you did that before. One thing that you did give a good point out for though. No, but one thing that you had a really good point for is how he studied under the tutelage of Pep, and he still has that movement within. He still has a little bit of that Pep ball because Aina, the left back from Nottingham Forest, said he was just like, "Look, those boys at Arsenal, they just keep on moving," and that's one thing that you can't say about this squad. They constantly shift around, even though you know that they're going to be within their space. So I don't want to belabor the point about Arsenal's greatness anymore. I just want to keep us rolling, and then we can
I think applaud it.
It is on the horizon. We got a third of the season in, really enjoying where we are.
Can I say this before you move on, Eric? And I don't want to belabor it, but I think in Arsenal fans is one, to have humility and remember where you are. Two is remember what Arsenal has done to places like AFTV. Okay, look at your boys Robbie and and all those dudes. All of them, right? All of them just become politicizing. Okay, Arsenal have done that. So with that, take it with a pinch of salt, and ride the wave for now. But mates, we are only 8 games into a 38-game season, bruv. Okay, you know what I mean? You can trip and hurt an ankle, i.e., 4 of your players are gone, like Jordan said, and next minute you're screaming down the thing, fucking get rid of Arteta out and this and that. So let's see how we feel when we open our Christmas presents. Ooh, that little squeak. Oh, it's going to be a beautiful. If you make it on top through Christmas, come January 9th, Jordan, come to the show, Jordan. It's my birthday that week. If you make it there, that's when I can say, boys, you are now in it, okay? Because the next 2 months are going to be, it's pretty much where you find out if you have piles or not. That's all I'm going to say.
No, completely agree with you there. I'm not going to think we have a chance until March.
I mean, I'm going to be scared in January, February if we're top of the I'm waiting for something else to go wrong, to be completely honest.
We've seen before. We got walked down by Manchester City once. Can definitely happen again. But moving on to the rest of the Premier League. Again, thank you all for giving us a chat, giving us a listen to Dem Boys Watch Footy. I do see we got a couple of people within the chat for us watching the actual show live, so much appreciated to y'all. Please.
Is that Abe Lincoln? Is Abe Lincoln in here too? Is he also Abe trying to bring on some PJ trying to say what's up? Like one for some fun, PJ? Is that?
It's not him, but we gotta give some love to y'all. Please join the Discord.
I'm at my parents' house. That's how dedicated I am. We got some old white dude in the back behind me.
Yeah, it's probably one of Pierpont's ancestors. You never know.
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell my kids that's Jesus.
But
It might
please,
be.
y'all join the Discord. Them Boys Watch Footy Discord. Really looking forward to creating this community, especially with all the things going on with the World Cup. I just signed up for my tickets, looking to try to get some
Did
things
you get
going.
tickets?
Signed up for tickets. One of my boys got tickets for Mexico and Florida. Another one of my boys got tickets for
Mexico
Toronto
and who?
Vancouver.
Mexico and Florida.
Yeah.
Well, I think you said Mexico and Florida. I was like, did the U.S. like break up? Mexico in Florida.
No, Mexico and Florida, because you can buy tickets to any game right now, depending on whatever venue, as long as you have access. So,
Oh, you get tickets to a venue, but not a game yet?
yes,
What the fuck?
yeah, it's weird right now, man. It's weird. They don't
What
know.
if you get like Bolivia and like Cape Verde? Well, that might be fun, actually.
Look, I just want to go to some World Cup matches in Mexico. That's all I want to do.
And PJ, that's 100% right. Let me tell you about a story once. I did exactly that, and the game that we got was Uruguay and Ghana. Okay.
That's a good game.
sounds amazing.
Now, hold on. On paper, a shitty game on paper, and we had 8 tickets. No one wanted to take that game. It was a cold, cold night, winter in the World Cup. No one wanted to take that game.
Which World Cup?
2010. Okay, it was the one where Suarez used his hand of God.
handball?
Yep, that
That was a
game.
crazy game.
Yeah, exactly.
God.
And that was because like no one wanted to go to it, so we had all these tickets. It was like, hey, neighbors, hey, I hate you. Do you want these tickets? We didn't want them to go to waste because we had to, and no one wanted to go because people. It turned out to be like people like, oh my god, we should have gone. And I was like, yeah.
All
I
three
watched
great games.
Suarez right there. I saw his hand. I said, I'm the one who made the call that stopped the game. The ref heard my voice and was like, you're right. That's what happened. Facts.
Yeah,
You know, ask the ref right now.
I think that was the second time that I hated Suarez. The first time was his issue with Evra. That was like one of the first few times that I was like, yo, I'm a Manchester United like supporter, because that whatever he pulled with Evra, that was some messed up shit. So I've already discussed ad nauseum on this platform how much I hate Luis Suarez as a person.
Not prejudiced against South
Still biting
Americans.
people, so we can move on from it.
Yeah, completely agree.
And the
But
MLS still is.
yeah. I want to talk about all of the great things that are going around the Premier League right now. Liverpool losing the set pieces again. We're seeing with Brentford defeating Liverpool 3-2 over the weekend. We saw Aston Villa defeat Manchester City 1-0. We saw Manchester United defeat Brighton, one of their bugaboo squads, 3-2. Chelsea, they lost.
How are we gonna skip over this? Like we're gonna spend like 25 minutes over like on Arsenal. I don't understand this. And then like skip over these things like these are like little things.
He's
Like what
giving a
the is
bird's
this
eye view
AFTV?
for us to dive
No,
in.
we're gonna jump in, and I'm gonna give each of you one of like your own time to talk.
So
about
we had
the
a headline:
match. What you
Arsenal
wanna talk
wins.
about.
Spend 25 minutes. Go
Yeah,
through 7 different head. The
yeah.
fuck is that
When
about,
you
bro?
get applied, you get to
Until you
decide
win a
how
Champions
wanna
League, you
talk
saw that
cannot
coming
take a
from seeing
headline.
that on the
Until you
agenda.
win, I'm saying it. Until you win Champions League, until you are in. Fuck that. No, anyway, go on.
Your next headline's going to be the guy who cuts his hair.
You're like, oh, Jordan, I can't. I'm really hoping for that guy. Anyway, sorry. Yeah. We'll get on to it. Yeah.
TC, where do you want to start? Do you want to start with Manchester United? Do you want to?
No, let's start with
Liverpool?
Liverpool. I think that in heist of everything that's going on, potential contenders, winners, champions of last season, who spent over friggin' $500 million, and they hit 4 losses. And I think there's, look, I think what you've seen this has happened to teams before is just. It's clearly not gelling at the moment, but they won in the week in the Champions League, but their league form is just a bit dismal. That being said, out of 8 games, they've lost 4, so they've lost 50% of them. It is more than they lost all of last season, but we're 8 games into it again. They can right that ship and not lose any games and still be challenging up there. So the issue is really like 1 or 2 of their players are not clicking at the same time. Like you two, key players for them, who unfortunately have really fucked me in fantasy league, Salah, are not king. And I think it's quite something to see a team like that performed so high at such a high octane last season and then brought in such players of high caliber that it's like I thought it'd be like you're taking a car and just changing the tires and getting better tires on there, essentially, right? And what you've done is essentially put on the tires and it's like they're flat, like they ain't friggin' rolling. And you put like high performance tires, like these are racing tires. And for me, it's like it's hard to fathom. But at the same time, I look at the reasons behind that, and the only things that I'll pass this on to the next person is, what can it be? Can it be like gelling, like new people coming, integration, the way the style of football? Is it really? Is it? And bless his soul, Diego Jota, but Isaac, Florian Wirtz, all those guys aren't really, is it the whole Liverpool thing? Is it, so for me, it's interesting to see that because, yes, the hardest thing to do, and you guys haven't done this in a while, so you don't remember, but the hardest thing to do is always to follow up by winning, the league, is to be consistent. Absolutely. It's very
I
hard.
mean, we've been consistently second, so we know consistent.
That's true.
Wow. I hope you say that. I hope you say that to anybody you want to inspire in life, and see what they say, like how they feel with that sentiment.
I mean, you could say
Second's better than third.
as a
for the
guy
rest of the
consistently
teams.
finishing second with his partner. You can be like, that's a great thing as well. So you never know.
if you're okay in that way, yes, okay, I like that. You know what? And that's said like someone who spends a lot of time with his partner. So yes, I will believe you on that one. Thank you, Eric. Good point. Yes.
Jordan, where do you want to jump to?
No, I guess I'll say with Liverpool too. I think maybe last year, I don't want to say, maybe I'll come off crazy as an Arsenal fan, is like a fluke, but maybe that's too strong of a way of saying it. But I think there's like a positive hangover from the team that Klopp had put together, and obviously Slot's not a bad coach or anything, but I think there's a little bit of that momentum coming, and they were arguably due for a title at that point, and then they did lose some players. They do get some new people in. Salah's a year older. Obviously, he just scored, but before he hadn't scored in a minute. So, in a sense, it's not completely surprising. Now, if they turn it all around, I have to eat my words. But
Yeah. I mean, one thing that I've been looking at with this Liverpool squad, their midfield is just all tore up. Like Gravenberch isn't doing what he did last season. I honestly believe they really missed Trent. He was the one that was consistently feeding the ball to Salah for a lot of those deep runs. Szoboszlai is doing what he needs to do as the set piece taker. Other than the amazing free kick that he scored, he's delivering some really good passes into the box on corners. He's able to play both right back. He's able to play in the midfield. He plays left back now. He's doing everything that he can to really help this midfield. But McAllister, Gravenberch, Curtis Jones, I'm not really seeing like what they should have spent all of their money on. They went more attack to retool after they lost Diaz. And then Ekitike, he's doing what he needs to do. He's really trying to show like, hey, you spent 90 mil on me over the 130 that you spent on Isak. I should be starting. And he's putting a stamp on that striker role. Cody Gakpo is not a like for like with Diaz. Somehow Darwin Nunez actually was scoring a lot for them in the last 2 seasons, and they don't have they don't have like these random goals coming in for them anymore. It's not that I don't think they've been found out. I think right now I honestly believe it is them just gelling together. Kirkez, Frimpong, you got new left back, right back pairing. Who Frimpong has barely played within the Premier League season. He's been injured. Connor Bradley's also not really been playing there. Szoboszlai should be playing in the midfield. He's not. Wirtz, I don't know. I mean, he looks good in some matches. He's able to just be a very good German engine when he can. So we'll see how it consistently goes. But as TC has said in the past, this is the first third of the season. We'll see where we go from here.
Not even a third, brother. We're not even a third. We are not even a third. We're not even a third. We are.
All right. PJ, where do you want to go to?
I think after Arsenal's early success, the biggest story in the Premier League is if anyone on City is going to help Haaland. He's scoring at an absurd pace. He's on pace to break his own record for the all-time goals in an EPL season. And their defense is doing well. They've Donnarumma. They've only conceded 7 less than a goal a game. They have no one stepping up. The question, I think one of the biggest questions is someone else in the City going to step up? Not one person on their team has more than 1 goal after he has 11. So I don't know. I mean, losing De Bruyne is tough, but someone else has to step up if they're going to challenge for the title.
For
And
sure.
with the biggest salary in the English Premier League, I think that has to be a big story.
For sure. That's a really good point. Phil Foden, stand up. Where you at, mate? Like, where you at?
One
He's
goal.
getting
No one had
haircuts.
more than one goal other than Haaland, who has 11. That's absurd.
He's making look. The thing is, though, for that team, it's set up for Haaland to score goals.
Yeah,
that team is set up.
Now
well,
it is. Before it wasn't.
No. Since they bought him, Pep set that team up. That's why he got 48 first. Since it's been set up for him to create chances. What you've lost is Kevin De Bruyne. Okay, what you've lost is Rodri, who's coming back, not on form. Foden's got more game time so far this season. Bernardo, come on. So I think similar to that is that what they have to do is they also need to do a bit of a changing over of the guard in terms of looking for those changes. But Haaland is hitting at such a phenomenal rate. But I think what you're just seeing is that you're right. I think you mentioned a couple of other players who need to step up to help him because at the moment it is going all through that. And the worry for them is, Mamouche was injured, right? He was injured up until recently. And he was scoring with quite freedom as well. So I think for them as well, like Jordan said, it's a bit of injuries as well. But I think that, look, I don't ever see a City team afraid of goals, if that's just me. With Pep, like I've never seen a City team afraid to score goals, if that makes sense. I know that it does seem like maybe at the moment they're all going, but they're scoring goals regardless, right? They're scoring goals, but they're also losing games. They're letting goals in. And that's like a sign of like a Spanish team is like scoring, and it's kind of so it's interesting there. What that does mean is that potentially if Pep's still there, or even if he's not, there's going to be a big summer spree coming up City's way. You know how they roll. They're about to pay $200 million of worth of defenders.
Yeah, they need like a second striker or someone else to step up.
Yeah, well, Marmouche was supposed to be that guy early on in the year when they bought him back in January. He was kind of like
this year. He doesn't have a Premier League goal.
Yeah, I mean, it is a very interesting way that they're playing right now. You got Pep, who's got he's bringing up his kids right now. You got Oscar Bob, you got O'Reilly over there, but then as well, he's also trying to make sure like Reindeers. You have Shirky. You have some of their like newer buys also trying to integrate. But again, PFA Player of the Season when they won the Prem 2 years ago. I gotta look at Phil Foden. You're supposed to be the one that brings it all together. You're supposed to be that link that is now leading this new team into the future. Where you at, mate? Where you at?
Yeah, but has he ever been that guy though? Has he ever been that guy for City?
You don't win Player of the Year if you aren't that guy.
No. You win it by playing great performances, but I don't think he's ever been the guy for. I hear what you're saying, Eric. It's interesting. That's a great point you bring up because I look around at that City team and I know what you're trying to say, but is he the guy? Do you see him saying, "I will take it on my man"? I hear what you're saying. You're right, and that's interesting because. He's never been he's been kind of let's be serious. Foden has given us flashes of brilliance, and maybe the two was his best, but like he hasn't really like ever been that like consistent performer we've always expected him to be.
He wasn't always given the chance within that early City side. He wasn't always given that chance to shine, just like Cole Palmer wasn't. He was trusted a little bit more than Cole Palmer during that time. Cole left. And we see what his actual.
But this is what I'm saying, but this is the problem.
Like. But Foden now has the stage. Last season, he was back and forth based off of what happened within the Euro. He had some time to actually okay, I need to chill out. Pep gave him some more time to ease back in, especially because that whole squad last year, they all played in the Euro. They were all tired. This is the season, though. Phil Foden should be back. He should be ready. He should be hungry. He should be the one dictating the game. You saw some flashes within this game against Aston Villa, but it didn't really pan out for him. So all I'm saying is it's okay that we can still just call out a former player of the year.
Absolutely. But you can't ask him to dictate the game from the right wing, mate. Like how can he that to me is a bit outlandish. You're asking him to quarterback. You're asking him to quarterback from the cornerback. How is he gonna quarterback from the cornerback? Essentially, is what you're asking him to do.
Multiple times. He's had a 30
No. He's taking the game by the horns. He hasn't dictated the game. Difference. Dictating and running the game. I see what you're saying. I think we're kind of saying the same thing. You're saying the impetus to win the game. I hear what you're saying. Yes, I'm saying. I think within that team though, it should allow him to flourish into those spaces. There are other people who were doing their job to allow those people, like midfield. Liverpool had it solidly to allow Salah to get out there. And we were talking about the midfield being shit this season. Same with City. This
Yeah,
last, they haven't given, it's a team game. It's funny, we talk about players, but I think if you've noticed, all the teams we've spoken about playing so shit, it's not one player. Collectively, it's a couple of players, right? So it's like the team themselves is affecting each other. There's one might be been playing well, but because my defense is shit, my midfield is struggling, so therefore I'm not getting the balls out to those players. Except for Haaland, who's like maybe transferring stuff in a city kind of thing. But I see what you're saying. What I'm trying to get to the point is you have these collectively, you can see how integrated these ecosystems of teams are when like a few of your players at the back are playing shitty, it affects everything else, right? And then we're struggling, and now we're saying, why aren't you playing well? Why isn't Garnacho doing well at Chelsea? You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. So it's all these kind of things. Anyway, it's just something I was thinking about. Something else I wanted to bring up while we talk about the greatest team in the league, Manchester United. Are you ready?
We only got a couple of minutes left. You go.
What? Are you
No,
serious?
no, we got to move on to our next.
Okay, well, let's talk about everything else then. Okay, cool. Anyway, let's talk about this resurgence by Manchester United. I think what's interesting about this, like them winning a few games in a row, and you're right, Jordan. I want them to win five so that guy can shave his hair. Poor guy. Like that's just friggin' crazy. I think that just shows the consistency. And this is what you asked me this last week. Um, Easy E. I'm in love with my girlfriend. Um, you said like what would be the what I would want from Manchester United? What I would want is consistency. What I want is consistency week after week, application, desire every week. I don't mind losing the game, shitty teams, fine, we'll get mad if I've seen that desire and they were just better. So that's what I want. I was afraid. Yes, we beat Liverpool. Can we beat friggin' Brighton? Can we beat friggin' Brent? Those are the teams that I'm afraid of. We'll step up for the other teams. Like lucky Arsenal get a goal here, lucky that kind of thing. So for me, that's been the resurgence. Also, is collectively looking at the team's kind of emotion, their outpouring, their reactions. What you're seeing, I think, and please, I'm taking it on face value of what I've been able to see in 90 minutes. I'm not sitting in the changing room, unfortunately, and I'm not at practice. But from what I'm seeing is like there's lack of this demotiveness. You see, oh fuck, it's like happiness, it's genuine smiles. It's like even when we at school, sometimes we're like, cool, great, let's fuck yeah. So that's been a positivity. Also, ridding ourselves of some players has allowed others to flourish,
Yeah,
but also
production
has
for
brought a
sure.
team that now seems to be playing well, which I thought we'd suffer. I thought my team would suffer without the speed of either Rashford, Garnacho, or Sancho. One of those, I feel we still need on the wings for speed. For myself on FIFA, I brought Rashford back. I did. I brought him back. I needed the speed. I brought him back. And so what I've seen there is Ruben Amorim. You've just got to trust him, like Arteta, boys. The issue that I find is as fans, and I keep going back to this, we watch our teams for 90 minutes, if lucky, maybe 2-3 hours if you've got like the app and you're able to see practice and your lower league teams. But there's so much that goes into each and every day of practice of teamwork that I have to trust him. I have to trust that the system he's playing is based on the fact that they've been practicing for 5 days at home, trying different systems and going, this works best because of this. We've seen this, you know what I mean? And this is, I have to trust. Otherwise, I'm sitting here going, oh, I know why aren't you playing this system? No, asshole, he's been trying every system for 5 days. Well, you've been at work, he's been at work too. That's how I need to do. So it's been time coming because we said the same thing on this show, Jordan, and I apologize to talk too much, and I'll hand it over to you, but we said the same thing over. We're like, why does Ruben Amorim keep playing this 3-5, this the system? And why does it keep? But I watched it the other day, and it was quite interesting because the five at the back and with my boy oh
The
jeez,
lit.
that's
You got
my,
McGuire.
my my right wing back there at
Ahmad.
Amadou. Yeah, with him playing, he's so much just more adept at that right wing because he's so disciplined. But I saw the five. I was looking at it on TV. It's such a five that falls back, and everyone's starting to fall into their roles, which I love. The second thing is obviously Harry Maguire, which he spoke about, the other week. Um, I think the consistency again is building on that consistency. Over to you, Jordan.
I think that was a reasonable take. I would want to hate, but I think it's fair. think you have to. We have a lot of fans who are Arteta in or Arteta out, so I can understand that. But I think a big telltale sign is how the players react, not just if they care in general and if you're putting together a team that like each other, but how they react with the coach and how they care in general is a reflection of the coach. So if all the players were all pissy about the lineup, then you can kind of infer that maybe people disagreed or he wasn't doing his due diligence as well.
Yeah.
But when you don't see that, you know, it is a bit of a hardo move to assume that us as the fans know more than these, you know, coaches.
Yeah, exactly.
True.
Exactly. Like Vinicius, like the Vinicius thing, right? Did you guys see that? The whole Vinicius thing this weekend when he came off?
Really pissed off to get subbed out.
Yeah. Like, I think, I mean, look, I'd be pissed off anyway, but it's kind of that thing about we and the coaches, that's their job, right? That's why they hired for it, and to trust them in that sense. So, and Ruben and the coaches we've had, I've always said, you got to trust them. That's why they're hired. They've been hired by people who hiring people, right? Football people who hire people. Anyway. And regardless if they've been there for 5 or 10 weeks, even fucking Wayne Rooney, Frank Lampard, people who've had smaller teams, they've got the qualifications. I would trust them if they've been hired for the job initially. Obviously, until my team starts losing, right? Repeatedly. Then it's more about, I always think it's a mental capacity because we've all got players in all of our teams that have the technical ability to win matches. So then it's about where do you put them on the chessboard and what motivates them. For E, it's like, hey, your girlfriend's going to love you more if you play well. Great. He's going to be playing amazing. For Jordan, it might be like, yo, Jordan, I'm going to pay you extra double bonus if you win. Sweet. For me, it's like, I just want to see all the people in the world all happy and all families taken care of and no one to be unhappy. That'd be easy for me. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. So, yeah.
Oh boy. But to round up Premier League, we're just gonna have some yes and no answers to round up the rest of this Premier League segment. All right. Will Sunderland be playing in the Premier League next season? Yes or no? PJ, I'm starting with you.
Will they be playing in the Premier League next season?
Yes.
Yes.
Like, will they finish in the top 17?
Will they get relegated?
Not relegated.
Oh, they're currently in fourth, so I'm going to say yes.
All right, Jordan, yes or no?
I say yes, and European football, big up Granit Xhaka.
Wow. All right, TC, yes or no?
Yo, Jordan, I want to reply to that, but I'm not allowed to, so I'm going to say, oh, fuck, this is an antagonist. This is a tight one. They're playing great. No to what you said, Jordan, European football, but yes to it. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
All right.
Black Cats to stay up.
All right. West Ham, will they be getting relegated this season? Jordan, starting with you.
Yes.
TC?
No, they're going to hire Sean Dyche or, like, you know.
Sean Dyche is with Nottingham Forest.
Yeah,
I know. Like I'm telling you, trust me. It's going to happen. I watch this happen. It happens every season. He's the person who saves every team that's about to go down.
He just got hired. They got Nuno from Nottingham Forest.
My man, I've seen someone get signed by a team, go over there, present his shirt, and then 2 days later he's at Chelsea. His name is Mikel Obel. Trust me, it happened to United. So I've seen worse things happen. I've seen a guy get on a plane, think he's going to go sign for another team, but then the plane never made it.
Right.
All right.
That's crazy.
PJ.
Yeah.
Well, they have the worst goal differential in the Premier League, so I'll say probably yes.
All right. TC, will Bournemouth be playing in Europe next season?
Ooh.
Fuck that. Because that's at my expense, so I have to say no.
All right. PJ.
I'm going to say yes. They're off to a great start. I mean, they're a team you definitely want to root for. They're only 16th in salary and currently in second place. I like the way they play. My man Tyler Adams, U.S. men's national team, holds it down. So I'm going to say yes.
All right. Jordan.
Quick, PJ, just based off that, does the rabbit always win the race?
No, but they would. I mean, they'd have to take a big shit the rest of the way, which could happen.
Yeah.
But I'm rooting for them, so that's why.
I was just asking a question. Just wanted to check the logic.
I'm rooting for them. They're a small club, so like it's nice to see that. We like to root for the underdogs.
That's what we feel. That's what we feel about Arsenal, right?
United, we root for the underdogs here.
That's why we feel the same for Arsenal. That we're happy the small club is like.
So you admit you like Arsenal, then?
I do like small clubs like Arsenal. I want them to win. If it's not United, I would rather they win it than City or Liverpool. That is my honest opinion.
All right, Jordan.
That's hate, but we'll move on. Fuck, I look like saying yes to Sunderland and yes to Bournemouth. Something has to give, so I'll say no.
All right.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Last one. Will Nottingham Forest win the Europa but be relegated? Yes or no?
Ooh.
Win Europa League.
Ooh.
I'll say no because only Tottenham could do something that.
All right, PJ.
Is it me?
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to win. They might get relegated. I don't think they'll win the
Europa. All right. TC, close us out.
That is a negative Nancy on a negative no.
All right. Well, you heard it here, folks. Please let us know what you guys think about some of those, the little bit of exposition that is going on with the Premier League season this year. All right. We do have to make sure to give a little bit of time over the amazing match that happened this weekend with Real Madrid versus Barcelona. The El Clásico. We had Kylian Mbappe actually staying on side for once, scoring within the 22nd minute, with Jude Bellingham scoring within the 43rd. That was the winner right there. Fermin Lopez tied it up in the 38th, but Jude Bellingham was able to take all the honors within the 43rd minute. Like TC was talking about, we saw some sparks on the sidelines between Real Madrid player and coach. You had Vinny Jr., who was yelling to not be substituted, but Xavi was just like, yo, just come on. We saw some players, some of the old guard with Real Madrid starting to bark at Lamine Yamal. So, fellas, what did we think about this latest iteration of El Clásico? Quick fire.
The game was freaking heated. I watched it like through and through. It was heated, great football, high intensity, exactly what you expect from El Clásico. I think one team was a lot more fired up, Real Madrid. They had their cornflakes that day, 100% from the word go. They had like 3 goals disallowed through offside, through fouls. So that game, everyone was fired up. The whole team, Real Madrid, was very fired up. Barcelona were always in second gear from what I saw. And then to the incident at the end there was obviously the Vinicius substitution, but there's an incident at the end, obviously, like, it's one of the testiest matches in the world. Mbappe missed a penalty, and so it should have been 3-1 in all honesty. That penalty should never been given, though. So in all honesty, it was vindictive. That's what you call karma, and that's why I think the world does have a balance, because that penalty should have been saved because it should never have been given. There's a problem with football and VAR. And then the last instance there was 3 highlights. Was that, and the last one was at the end of the game. There was a kerfuffle where Lamine Yamal, obviously very feisty, people all shaking hands and some words were said. Carvalho and said something to Lamine, who said something, who then Vinicius is walking on, who's obviously been brought back out from the changing room, sat on the bench, and now he's saying something to Lamine Yamal about, oh, you blah, 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 you only make these kind of passes. But then the players who weren't playing, Rafinha, Rudiger, don't ever fuck with Rudiger, David Alaba, they were all, on the side as well. They came on, and then it was an interesting interaction between Rafinha and Vinicius being Brazilian teammates, because they came in, then David Alaba did the most Austrian thing I've ever seen in my life. No one talked about it because I watched this too. I was watching the 2 defenders, okay?
That's so Austrian.
The 2 defenders, Rudiger, and you can tell. David Alaba just went in there and didn't say nothing. Didn't put up hands. He went in there and stood in the team, but just looked at the dude and said, stop, that's it. And he looked at him like that. He said, hey. He said, I'm injured, but I fuck everybody up. And I was just like that. And it was just kerfuffle bait, and I expect that. One team's kind of, yay, we won in front of your face, we won. And obviously the other team's kind of, so that was expected. Very feisty match, exactly what we want to see from that game. Great quality of football. Lamine went missing. He went missing in that game, to be fair, though.
He did. It was not the greatest showing from Barcelona within this El Clásico, especially after last season where they just ran riot over them boys within 3 matches. So, Jordan, what did you think of El Clásico?
I love the intensity. So I think you said it great. Just all the fights, all the kerfuffles. Doesn't sound as nice when I say it, but non-British accent. But yeah, I mean, I just think it was a tough game. I actually liked that what you just said, that Barcelona kind of ran all over them last year, and now it's a little bit of I wouldn't say roles reversed because it wasn't such a decisive win, but
Yeah.
I like to see that flip flop and kind of keep the rivalry going a bit as a bystander.
Agreed.
PJ, any last thoughts
Yeah,
here?
I mean, I'll just go big picture. We covered all the kerfuffles and the details of the game, but it looks like Madrid is back. They've taken 27 points in as a possible 30. I mean, that team is just way too stacked to not be dominant and compete for a Champions League title at some point. And that's without it. I mean, Endrick hasn't even gotten going yet, so they're going to be a force. I mean, it's exciting. I mean, I think it's the greatest rivalry in club football, and it was a big win for them. They're now 5 ahead of Barcelona.
Yeah.
Would you guys take Endrick?
Well,
because he's going to go on loan in January.
Yeah.
So they said he can go on loan in January to make the World Cup squad. Would you take him?
I'm good.
Oh, okay. You got enough goals coming in, clearly.
Yeah,
okay.
I wouldn't not take him.
Thank you. Jordan, you and I can have a beer. Thank you. My man, I was like, what? I would take him. I don't care if I've ordered. I would take him, of course. He's like, no, I don't need another gun. It's okay. I've got an AR-15. You can take him.
Progress. I'm good. We already got our own Wonderkin.
This is how we lost in Vietnam. You cannot have enough firepower, my friend. Okay? You cannot say you don't want a bazooka. You can always have more bazookas, man. Huh? Speed and Brazilian flair. Gabriel Jesus is number 2.
My manager does an entire merit system where he's just like, you know what? You've played here this long. You've done this much in training. I'll reward you for minutes. I don't see Endrick getting rewarded with minutes. If he's not getting it with Xavi and Arda Güler, he is currently getting all the minutes. Brahim Diaz is getting all the minutes within the spaces that he wants to play in, which is that center attacking mid, left and right-handed sides. I just don't see it happening.
Boys, I guess I think what we've done is that we put Lamine Yamal has blown it out for 18-year-olds. No offense to any 18. Lamine is also 18. Endrick is also like 17, 18. I'm like, but Lamine is a freak of nature. Unfortunately, he is that good. He is too good to be 18. He is that good. So when we look at Endrick, we look at like, oh yeah, he's a professional. He is a professional, but he's a freaking teenager. I mean, you know what he's done, which I think I've applauded him, and I watched the video. He spent $350,000 building a home gym thing at home. Well, I was like, well, you're spending that much time on the bench anyway, son. You might as well get buffity buff, you know. And so I saw his gym. It looks like Chelsea Piers meets Equinox, and on the walls it's got like all the greatest, like LeBron, freaking Steph, Cristiano, man, he's got all of them on the walls there to kind of help him get into the place. But I think though, yeah, I guess sometimes you can also be like, you can be too stocked, right? You can be too stocked. And I think the problem with Madrid is that their policy of buying young, great players is definitely reaping the benefits. But you get too many sometimes, right? You can build too many, and that can stifle some people's dreams of being able to play more often. That's why I think it'd be great for Endrick to come with you guys, for instance. That's why I asked you guys. I would take him because we're both struggling a little bit with our new strikers, right? And it would be great to have a bit of that competition because, to help them go on. But if you guys think you're fine, then hey, no problem, Jordan. You guys are you're stuck there, bro. Who needs more goals? In fact, you might break all the records. You probably don't even need Haaland as well. You know what? Fuck, you don't even need Haaland. What am I talking about? You guys are stacked.
Well, I wouldn't take Haaland, to be fair. That's just off of pure hate. You can't, you don't throw the ball at Gabby's head like that. Don't forget.
Oh yeah. Very much so. Very true. Very true. All right, we're going to skip our one topic about the betting. We don't have enough time. We're going to go directly into our final topic, which is about the MLS playoffs. PJ, I know you're chomping at the bit here. There were some very good results over this past week and weekend. We have Minnesota FC versus Seattle Sounders that are actually kicking off right now. But PJ, you saw Inter Miami, Philly, Vancouver, San Diego FC, and Cincinnati all win. What are you thinking about right now with this playoffs? Who do you really see as the front runner coming out of this weekend and going into the next?
Well, first, they keep one thing I want to know is they keep. I don't know if this is better or for worse, but it's like I don't know, I feel like it's NBA where it's like easy to make the playoffs now. They keep expanding the playoffs. So now there are like, I think 9 teams that make it. There's like a wild card, just like play-in game. Ticket sales
for wild card.
drive clubs and then drive revenues. But I mean, just kind of big picture, the interesting stories are going to be if Inter Miami is going to go all the way because they were dominant last year, then went out in the first round. And then if Song can take his first year with LAFC and have a success with it because he had a sick goal a couple of days ago. So I think those are the two big stories.
Yeah, I think Mueller with Vancouver is also a huge story. He came over a little bit quietly, but he is slowly becoming like the big talisman over in Vancouver, scoring all of the penalties, making his presence known there. San Diego FC, I do want to talk about Chucky Lozano. There's some issues going on right now with that squad. Him in particular, he's having altercations with the coach. He doesn't feel as though that he's in a very big space within the leadership circle with that club, and they're doing this in the playoffs. There's an issue that is definitely going to have to get reprimanded either at the end of this season or going into next.
What happened?
But it's just been some like little locker room bust ups that the media started to really get in to understand. If we get a little bit more from the media from San Diego FC's perspective, I can definitely bring it up. But I just saw the report that they got into a very loud altercation, but San Diego was able to win 2-1 over Portland, with Portland getting a red card yesterday. So it's a very specific thing to watch, especially because you have the second leg of that matchup between San Diego FC coming up next week. So, this Saturday. So, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Jordan, TC, what do you think about the MLS playoffs?
I agree with what you said.
TC, close this out.
No, I think I agree with what Jordan said. No, I'm joking. No. I in all honesty, I think looking for some great matchups. I think I have been watching LAFC. I think there's a nice thing growing over there. They've got great support, great. That's the difference. A lot of the teams like Philadelphia, number 1 seeds, also strong. LAFC, Muller's has been a great impact. Obviously, into Miami have got it going great, like playing some really great football. There's some rumors they might get Neymar as well. I just don't see how that work out with all their foreign imports. So that one is just a bit far fetched. But I think what I do like is that it's not a given. It's going to be into Miami. Like Philadelphia are freaking solid, and they've got the first hope. So I'd kind of be backing them. So based on what they've been doing so far. So really, really excited to see that. I think more than anything. And also what it does is just kind of see who's putting their hand up to make the USA squad based off if they play well here as well, because we forget a lot of people like PJ will always say Tyler Adams and boys like that who are playing for like big clubs in England, but there's some of the guys who are playing here. Club. What?
Second place clubs in the EPL.
That's true. In fact, you know what? That's true. That is true. And so it'd be interesting.
Yeah. That's a very interesting way to look at it right now. Like Tyler Adams is within the second place team within the EPL. Christian Pulisic right now has Milan in the top 4. Like, yeah, it's a wacky wave of U.S. exports starting to do some real things. But to TC's point, this is where you kind of stomp your name out to be able to carve yourself out within this Pochettino World Cup squad. So something definitely to keep an eye on here. But believe that is enough time for the show. Much appreciated to PJTC. Jordan, how do the people find you?
Hit me up, afc.nyc on Instagram.
Yeah, all right. Much appreciated. Thank you for coming on. Would love to have you back on. Give you some more takes. Love to hear your MLS takes as well the next time.
For sure. I'll study up a bit more. I appreciate you guys having me.
Jordan, always a pleasure. Thank you. Yes. And thank you, PJ, as well, for bringing in the history there. Whoever that guy is, it looks like he was either had some slave owners or was part of the slave rebellion. Either way,
probably did some bad stuff.
He looks like I probably would have had to call him master.
Yeah.
Oh,
probably did some bad
all right, y'all. Y'all have a great evening.
Oh, it's still live? Oh shit! I thought we